What's up, everybody? It's the podcast about everything. It's me, Jake, and I've got Joe with me.
Hi, everyone. How you doing? Hope you're well. Hi, Jake.
Are you all right, Joe? How's it all going?
Not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not so bad, not so bad. Glad we're happy happy to be back, shall I say, for another episode. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about money, finances, dosh, dough, wonga, whatever you want to call it. The stuff that makes the world go around, or the root of all evil. Have your say. I don't know.
Both. It's got to be both.
Well, yeah, Joe says both. Joe's sitting on the fence on this one. I've got the let's wait and see attitude.
Okay.
So money is the subject. I would say, let's start at the beginning. Being a young kid, what was money? What did we see it as? Joe, what did you see money as when you was a young kid?
Money seemed like everything as a child. I just remember it being like the center of everything, in terms of it's what drove my parents, it's what drove the people around my parents. Industry, you saw it everywhere. In anything you wanted, it had a cost. So as a kid, I wanted money. I didn't know how I was going to get it. I just knew I wanted it. What about you?
Yeah, the same really. Money was everything, like you say. Because you're young, you don't understand the value of it. Everything revolves around it. You want to go to the shop and get some sweets, you need money. You want a new toy, you need money. And I couldn't help thinking when I was young that I couldn't wait to be that much older where I could start earning my own money and, start buying what I wanted to buy. And I remember my mum used to say things like, oh, money doesn't grow on trees. And I used to have this thought as a child that, can you imagine if money did grow on trees? And I'd just fantasize about all the things I would buy. And just how rich I'd be. And but I think in some ways, my parents used to sort of like try not to spoil me too much because I would grow up with no sense of what the value of money was. And obviously as a kid, you see that as them sort of being hard on you, but really they're just helping you out, I guess, don't you think?
No, absolutely, and you only have to listen to our podcast about work to know that we had to go through that process of understanding the value of money. But it's funny you say that saying, and that saying you hear it all the time. Money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah.
I remember once my mum saying to me, would you need that? You don't need that. Money doesn't grow on trees. And me being the smart ass that I was, I turned around and said, well, actually, mum. Money is made of paper and paper comes from trees. So technically money does grow on trees. I'll tell you this right now. Not only did I get the dirtiest look from my mum, all right, she called me a few choice words, which I deserved, and sent me to my room. So yeah, be good to the parents out there, kids, because ultimately they're the ones who are paying out. That's what I would say.
See, I never made that connection as a kid about money and paper and all that growing on trees. So yeah, so for any kids that are too smart, maybe that's not a good thing because it's going to get you in trouble. Play ignorant.
But it's funny, isn't it? Because really, as a kid, well, for me certainly, and I think maybe others might relate that you want money, you want things. But the reality of it is, as a kid, that's when you probably want money the most, and you have the least amount of use for it. Because in reality, once you bought your sweets and your magazine and your toys, what are you going to do with your money? Like, you don't have any other aspirations really beyond that, do you? I didn't anyway.
You're not going to go out and buy, like, I don't know, property or anything like that as a kid. You don't understand how that works. I mean, even like you think to yourself, like, oh man, like £100, like, well, that's a lot of money. But then when you think about it, £100 is sometimes a weekly shop for a family or something. It depends on where you're going. Sometimes it could be a nice night out somewhere. Or it could be a couple of tickets to a venue. So really, in reality, what you thought back then was a lot, when you get older and realise, wow, there probably isn't that much, it's quite a hard fall from grace, I must say. And I felt that as you get older, the more you looked at money from a younger age and the amounts of it, as you get older, those amounts got smaller and smaller and smaller. And suddenly you realise that what you thought was a lot isn't a lot at all. I mean, even myself, if we're moving on a little bit from childhood, I'd say, well, still childhood in the teens. If I earned £100 a week for working or something like that was like I'd hit the jackpot, Like that was a lot. That was a lot. But yeah, but as a kid, I definitely think you have a warped reality of what money really is. And like you said, once you've bought your sweets, your toys, and whatever else it is you wanted to buy, there is no other aspirations there for you.
No, not really. And it's funny how that develops, that changes over time, like you're saying, going into your teens, and all of a sudden you have a bit more use because you maybe start doing things, right? You might
Yeah,
start
yeah,
going to the cinema or bowling
yeah,
or
yeah.
social, social element starts coming in, and
Uh-huh,
that costs money,
uh-huh.
especially if you don't want to be just loitering on the street corner or down a park somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
So again, that need for money starts to grow, right?
yeah.
Because
No,
all of a sudden you start wanting things.
and yeah, it's true. And I think nowadays with teens, it's a completely different ball game. I remember when I was like 13, 14, 15, like the in thing was, I don't know, to wear like sports brands, like Nike, Adidas, stuff like that. And, like they are expensive in their own right. But now these kids have gone into higher fashion at 13, 14 years old. You got kids wearing Prada, Versace, Armani. I mean, I heard a story the other day that a kid bought a pair of £300 trainers. £300 trainers at 13 years old. That's
Where's he get?
nuts.
Where's he getting the money for that?
Well,
Is that
when I
from mum and
question,
dad or?
well, I questioned his parents because they were in the room. I said, "What the hell is your kid doing by £300
Oh, this is
trainer?"
someone you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Well, to be fair, I say it was the other day. It was going. It was probably, yeah, it was just after Christmas because they said, "Well, we gave him some money and he had some Christmas money too." And I'm thinking to myself, "That's still 300 quid on trainers on a kid who's 13, 14, and who's growing still, and may
Mm.
not. I don't know. I don't know what the speed of. I don't know. I don't know how quick kids grow, or whatever. But I'm guessing in a couple of years' time, that £300 spent on those trainers is a waste because he's going to grow out of them.
Do you know, it's funny though, because I remember being 13, 14 years old, and the last thing that I wanted would have been a pair of trainers. I mean,
Exactly.
I know
I
things have changed, but
yeah, yeah,
for me, it would have been probably computer games. I would have
yeah,
wanted,
definitely.
and for that amount of money, I
Consoles.
would have been
Yeah,
able to buy a brand new console,
yeah,
about 4 or 5 games.
yeah.
I would have been able to have entertainment that would last, and believe me, it still lasts. I've still got my N64, my Super Nintendo. I still got all those
Retro,
classic consoles. Yeah, man,
retro.
I still got them. Probably because I realised how much money they were, and they were
Yeah,
Christmas
yeah,
presents, and
yeah.
you start to value those things. And yeah, what you're going to do with a pair of Versace or Gucci or whatever trainers
It's
once they don't
ridiculous.
fit you anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would love a pair of those, but I'm not going to spend 300 on them. All right, I just don't. I don't love them that much. Nor would I. I don't think. Nor would I let if I had a child, he or she spend that sort of money on them because it's ridiculous. Like, yeah, get yourself something nice. £300 on footwear. Come on, you're giving your kid there. All right, no value of money. If you're going to allow he or she to do that, all right, they're going to think, oh, well, if I've got a bit of money, I can put it towards it. Mum and dad will sub me the rest. No, it's not happening for me. No way. I'm not doing it.
Okay. So for you, the thought process is if you're going to go out at any age and get something like luxurious like that, it should be because it's your money. You shouldn't be borrowing it off mum and dad or
Not
what are you
even, not
saying?
even, not even that. Like, obviously, he put some money in towards it himself, which is fine. But at the same time, it's just a bit like, well, are we keeping up with the Joneses here?
That is what it is. I think anyway. I think it's a cultural thing. I
Yeah,
mean, it's a different subject for a different day when we talk about social media and young
yeah,
people,
yeah,
but
yeah,
but
yeah,
it is very much, I think, a culture of what you're seen to be doing, what you're seen to be wearing. What you can basically show off to the world on your Instagram, your
yeah,
TikTok, your Snapchat, whatever it
yeah,
might be,
yeah,
and that credibility you get, those likes, those comments, that's unfortunately, self-esteem building process that takes place through social media is probably what drives kids to want that. I
yeah,
mean, people can probably care more about the fact that you're wearing something like that than they're going to care about the fact that you say, "Oh yeah, I bought a
yeah,
new PlayStation or a Nintendo Switch." So it's about I think it's about credibility, Jake.
yeah, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Definitely, I believe so. But yeah, I just thought that whole situation was just crazy. It's just mind blowing to me. That's all. So with money, do you remember I want to say your first wage, but yeah, I want to say your first wage where it was a substantial amount. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you was like a teenager doing a part time job or something. Do you remember that first wage and how it felt earning that?
My first, So I'm gonna answer that in a different way. I think I'm gonna think
Okay.
about my first wage that I had working like a proper job, like working
Mm.
full time in a way. Because my first few jobs were all like, you work a shift a week and it doesn't really amount to much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I remember my first like proper full time job was a summer, like working in the summer,
Uh-huh.
and I was working full time hours. And yeah, I remember getting paid at the end of the week and it just being like life changing,
Yeah.
So I was 18 years old, and it felt life changing. It felt
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
got all this money. The things I'm gonna do, I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
all these
Yeah.
things. All right, I'm gonna start planning that holiday, and then you start thinking about how you're gonna spend that money, and then you
Yeah.
realize like the weekend's over, and man, you gotta go to work again on Monday.
Yep. Yep.
When you got time to spend this money,
Yeah.
So
It's true. It's true.
yeah,
So yeah,
but
it's
it was.
interesting. It's interesting you mentioned that age, that age of 18, because that's when you start. I don't know. You start going out properly. You start going to pubs and clubs and stuff, and you might even say there is almost a valid reason for you to spend your money, because you're not just buying things for the sake of it. You're going out and enjoying yourself. So I think that time is probably where you start learning about things like money. Like you could probably go on a night out and blow 50, 60 quid on drinks, no problem.
Mm.
But you don't think about that. There's no like, oh man, I bought rounds, I bought shots.
Yeah.
I'm,
I, I, t-
I'm literally pissing it up the wall.
I tell you what I remember, okay, about being that exactly what you said. You don't remember those things, right? What I
Yeah,
remember was being 18 that
yeah,
summer,
yeah,
working full time, about to go uni, and my parents saying, "Okay, it's good. You got the money now. Now you can buy the books that you need for uni." And all of a sudden,
yeah.
you're like,
You're like, damn.
damn, yeah, like, oh shit. Oh, well, I got to use that money I earned not to have fun, but I have to go
Yeah,
and buy my £250 worth of books that I'm going to need for uni. And
yeah,
oh, yeah, and now you can pay for your own petrol as well.
yeah.
Damn, like all of a sudden you're like all the things that you take for granted that
That's
your
true.
parents help out with or people help
Yeah,
out with, and obviously not everyone's in that situation. Some people
yeah.
have only ever been able to do it because they've had to do it on their own. They're
Uh-huh.
maybe not as fortunate as I might have been. I
Yeah,
did have help from my parents at a certain
yeah.
period.
Mhm.
But as soon as you start earning, the reality hits, and
Yeah,
you might be paying rent or
yeah.
paying for those your phone bill, paying for all those things for the first time, and
Uh,
all of a sudden that socializing starts to you start having to pick and choose, right?
exactly. Yeah. And it's not like you thought it was going to be. It's not like, oh, I'm going to earn money every week. I'm going to have a steady income coming in. I'm I'm going to be a millionaire every week. Myself. I know the reality is not that, because as you said, things start coming on. Your parents maybe might not support you as much. They think, well, he's earning that money now. He can look after himself. And I found, which was true in a way, it just seemed like the more money you were starting to earn, somehow the more bills started racking up.
Mm.
You were, I like moving on from the whole uni part. When I got my first full time job, when I first started the job, I said to myself, right, you know what? I'm gonna spend half my wage and save half my wage. Now for the first couple of months, that went okay. Maybe up to probably about 5, 6 months, that was all right. But then all of a sudden, I don't know what I was getting myself into, but every month I was like, okay, where's all this money going? What did
Yeah,
I
yeah.
spend it on?
Just disappears, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But you look at your bank statement and it's like, shit, did I really spend that? You accumulate the fives and £10 that you're spending here
Yeah.
and everywhere. It's like, crap. This month I spent £300 in McDonald's and KFC and Burger King. All right,
Standard.
all on nights out because I'm so drunk. All right, I'm buying food I don't necessarily need to eat. All right, I'm buying drinks for everyone else. It's a joke.
You do entrance fees into clubs, and you don't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
£15, £20 to get in. You don't even
Whatever.
think twice about it, do you? Just like,
I'll
yeah,
pay
yeah,
it.
why
I'll
not?
pay it because everyone else is doing it.
Exactly. So that money it does disappear. It
It,
disappears, doesn't it?
it
And
disappears. And I suppose, but the thing is, you look at every month, you say to yourself, I'll be better next month, but you're not because you're
no,
just repeating the cycle.
no, absolutely. It took me a good year probably of working full time for
Yeah.
me to be able to clear, and that's honest, and be able to clear probably my my student loan. No, sorry, not student loan. My student overdraft that I had. So you get this overdraft from the bank. It's interest free, and so when I was in my final year at uni, yeah, I enjoyed myself. I lived away, and I came back with I was in my overdraft, interest free, but nonetheless, it was money that wasn't mine.
Yeah.
And it took me maybe a year is a bit much, probably about six to 8 months, right, of working and being careful with my money. And when I left uni, I wasn't working full time, I was working part time, so I was having to be extra careful. And eventually, I cleared that. But it's so hard because you look and the money's gone, and you're thinking, where is it going? What am I spending this money on?
Yeah.
And while you haven't got necessarily something to drive you forward to strive for, it's so hard to save. I mean, when you were starting to save your money at 18, half, like you said, half your wages, did you have something in your mind you're thinking, right, I'm going to save towards X, Y, and Z?
Well, the real saving for me started after uni. So that was probably about 21, 22. At 18, I was like working sort of part-time. Whatever money I was making, it was just for me to get what I wanted and go out and have a good time. But I'd say the real saving, I've always been encouraged to save, not just by my parents, but my grandparents. And I always used to live by this motto that if I can't afford it twice, then I won't buy it.
Okay.
So I had a buffer. I always made sure I had a buffer there.
That's
and
good.
Sometimes it did mean that I would go without certain things, but it was just like, well, I'd rather go without than have no money, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think it was probably around the early 20s mark, because I was like, well, okay, well, I need to save some money, because one day I'm going to need to buy some property, so I'm going to need some sort of deposit money. So maybe it's now time to start. I opened a couple of ISA accounts. They were okay, but they're now useless because you make no money on them. but back in the early, back in 2010, it was that was a place to sort of put your money and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in a way, I probably have been saving from quite a young age, and saving money was never really a problem for me. In the sense that it got to a point where I'd rather save, and sometimes it was like I'd rather save my money than blow it on something stupid. So I've always been quite sensible in that sense. How have you really found it yourself?
To be honest, I was probably the opposite of you at that age, at sort of 21, 22. I as soon as I started earning money, as I said, I was able to kind of clear my overdraft, but I found it really difficult to save my money, really, really hard. And I think part of the reason is that I didn't know what I was saving for. So when I was putting money to the side, it was like, well, what is this money for? This is just money I could be spending on nights out or whatever it might be. Yeah. So not really having that overview, having that bigger picture of knowing meant I'll say it, waste my money basically on instant pleasures. And that, even, I was working with mobile phones, so it might be buying technology, buying whatever, and spending that money and not thinking bigger picture that, eventually one day I might want to buy a house and it really probably took me to be about the age of, I don't know, maybe 22, 23, when I started thinking, you know what, I want to buy a nice car. I've worked now, I want to, the car is not the best, and I want to buy a car. And that was probably the moment that I started getting used to putting money in that bank account, saving it up.
Okay. So, yeah, I suppose in a way you needed some sort of incentive there to think to yourself, well, okay, I've got to save this money. This is what I want to buy. So, in a way, it felt like an achievement for you because you're like, well, I want that. To get that, I need to have X amount. To get X amount, I need to save. And I suppose, that was a lesson for you.
Yeah, I had to have that inspiration there for me to be able to do that. And for me, I know there's obviously different ways about, people can get it on finance or lease, or there's lots of different ways about to buy a car, which mean that you don't necessarily have to have the money up front. But the thing that was going to be important for me, it was a second-hand car, but I knew that when I bought that car, I wanted it to be, it's paid, it's done, it's mine. I wanted it to be, and that was enough incentive for me to start, okay, a little bit here, a few £100 here, a few £100 there. Yeah. And I tell you what, I mean, for me, I don't know about yourself, I got a buzz out of seeing that pot grow.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
You start thinking that money, that's mine. I've earned that. That's my little pot there. Look how it's growing every month. I'm a step closer to achieving that thing that it might take me another 6 months, but
Mhm.
I'm a step closer to achieving that goal of I'm going to get my new car.
Yep. Yep.
Stick a picture of it up on the wall,
Uh-huh.
pray to it like it's a god, kiss it, that's the car I want. And I
Yep.
kept dreaming about that car, right? So you need sometimes, I think, that bit of motivation there. And actually, I would say that's missing in a lot of people's lives now and
Yeah.
then, even now
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. Yep. I've probably been in the company of many people who have just blow their money. Love the credit cards, get into a hell of a lot of debt.
Mm.
Self-admittedly say that it was their fault. Um, rack up thousands in credit card debt. But that it annoys me because
Yeah.
why do you really want something that much that you're going to put yourself in that sort of trouble?
It frustrates the hell out of me. Also, I think, why would you get a loan, a payday loan, or a credit card bill for
Yeah.
stuff that you don't need?
Yeah.
So I get sometimes people are living in a desperate state, right? And they may need to get a loan or go onto their credit card in order to pay their bills because maybe things are tough at work, or there's circumstances surrounding it which mean that you have to keep a roof above your head, or you need to feed yourself and it means that you go into debt. Okay, I can understand that. People who are like, I needed to have the latest phone, or I needed to have this holiday, or X,
Yeah.
Y, and Z, and
Yeah.
I'm going to go into debt in order to do that. All
Mhm.
right, you're a mug. As far as I'm concerned, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm going to say it. Yeah, why do that? Why put yourself into that debt? It's the fear of missing out, right? Is that what it
No,
is?
it is. It is. It's more. Oh, he or she are doing it. I want to do it, but for me to get to that level, right, I need to get a loan out. So yeah, so you're trying to keep up with people, or you're trying to be at the same level as some people, because for whatever reason we live in a culture now where we all got to be seen to be, I don't know, going on the nicest holidays, wearing the nicest clothes, driving the nicest cars, stuff like that. Um, and you're putting yourself into that financial trouble, and it reflects badly on you. If you're constantly in debt, you're in your overdraft. It's yeah, it's just not a good thing. But what really gets my goat is that when I've noticed that for a lot of things you need a credit rating,
Mm.
and I found this out at quite a young age. So I was about to lease a car, and they were like, and they said, well, we need X amount deposit. I was like, okay, fine, no problem. I had the deposit money. So it was all going through, and then they're like, oh, hold on, you've got no credit rating. I said, what do you mean? It's like, you've got no credit rating. They said, have you ever had a credit card? I was like, no. I was like, and I never want one. They went, well, unless you've got a credit rating, we can't give you this car because this car's on lease. And we need to know you're able to pay it back every month.
Mm.
And I'm like, so hold on a second. I'm like, I have to go and get a credit card, rack up a bit of debt, all right? Then you'll give me what I want.
It's
Without
mad,
so
isn't it?
it's
What about
crazy.
that for backward thinking?
It's crazy. And then I've had to go to the bank and apply for the credit card. And like the guy at the bank was like, oh, so why are you getting a credit card? And I explained the situation. And like the look on his face was sort of like he took pity on me, and he was just like, look, build up a credit rating because you need it, but don't go crazy. He was like, just I don't know, spend a bit of money on petrol every month and use your credit card just to build your rating up. But so some people who aren't so smart thinking would be like, oh, I need a credit rating, so they're just going like buy whatever and whack a massive bill on it. But it just annoys me that we're living in this culture now that just because someone's lent you money, or no, the other way around, if someone hasn't ever paid anything back because it's all been done sort of like straight away, they're less likely to get what they want. Whereas someone with a shitload of debt is going to get something because they're allegedly already able to pay things back, despite the fact they've got a debt already.
Yeah, yeah.
It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling.
It is, and I can understand why they need it. They need to be able to have some evidence that people, are able to pay back what they borrow. But it's a dangerous game, and I
Yeah.
think that when people get themselves into troubles, often they get themselves into more trouble by maybe not speaking to the bank. Instead, they
Yeah.
take out another loan or try and pay off in a different way. And you just think, well, look, stop, slow down, get some advice, get financial advice, and
Yep.
try and get yourself out of it. And most importantly, if you don't, try and hold back from temptation, because that's ultimately what it is, isn't it? It's the
Yeah.
temptation. if you want something, maybe earn the money first, pay it up front,
Exactly.
or pay it off with your own money when you can,
Yeah.
rather than borrowing it from somebody else. And
Don't.
you'd probably be in a bit better place.
Yeah. Okay. You might not get it when you want it at that point, but you'll still get it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's
So yeah,
bigger picture.
exactly. So yeah. So I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't like credit cards. I very rarely use mine. It's like very small purchases. I think like my Netflix allowance comes out of it, like my Netflix subscription. I think that comes out of it every month, and that's about it. But that's only sort of just to keep it sort of ticking over. Like,
Ticking over,
I don't really do no more than that. But yeah, so saving money is extremely important. Don't live beyond your means. Don't be a dickhead. All right, you can't afford it. Fine, because at the end of the day, no one really cares. Like, so don't get it.
Yeah.
Live safe.
How about these payday loan adverts though? You know,
No,
they
no.
they crack me up. It's like who watches that and is like, do you know what? Yeah,
Yeah,
this looks like a reputable company. And they're only going to charge me 5,764% APR. Like, that seems reasonable. Let me
yeah.
go and borrow money off these.
What's it? Isn't there an advert for one I saw one day where I saw an advert for one where like the woman's boiler breaks down and she can't fix it because she hasn't been paid yet, so she has to pay their loan to fix her boiler. And
Yeah.
it's just like, I'm sure if someone fixes your boiler, any reputable company, then invoices you for it, and you should have, I don't know, 28 days to pay. Usually, I don't know. I'm guessing that's how an invoice. Well, I think that's how most invoices work.
That doesn't fit the narrative of the advert.
That's
We
not true.
need to scaremonger people, don't we?
That's
Oh, your boiler
true.
breaks down. No, don't worry about making sure you've got insurance or a warranty. Take a payday loan. So
We'll just charge you over the odds to pay it back. You might go
exactly.
bankrupt. You
Yeah.
might. Don't worry about you losing your boiler. You might actually lose your whole house.
It just they do make me laugh, these adverts. I don't
Yeah.
know. People get drawn in. It's amazing they get drawn into them. But
Yeah. I think if you're already sort of a bit, like you said, we're a bit luckier. We've had a bit of guidance. We've had parents who sort of try to keep us on the straight and narrow and try to sort of control us when it comes to money, and like sort of teach us the right ways. Some people haven't had that.
no.
Some people don't have that type of like network around them. So probably why a lot of people get themselves into debt and stuff like that. But moving on from this very heavy subject, it's quite heavy, this whole debt thing. All right, let's go into our spending past or habits. When I say this, I mean, Joe, what has been or give me more than one, biggest waste of money ever?
I've wasted money on lots of things, and in terms of something that would be a sort of higher price, talking rather than being the tens of pounds, hundreds of pounds, I remember being convinced to buy a £250 Nintendo 3DS by a friend of mine. I was living with someone at the time, a mate. We were house sharing, and he just bought one. We could buy a 3DS because we can play together. We can play online against each other and stuff. All right. I'll buy one. Go and spend the money on this thing. Honestly, if I have taken that thing out of the box more than a handful of times in the last 10 years, okay,
Wow.
I would be lying. That thing has just grown and built dust on top of it. And it is, I'm sure it's a great bit of kit, but I don't really have any interest in it. And that's the thing sometimes. It can be easily influenced by those around us who you get on the hype, on the bandwagon. And that was definitely one of the sort of lower costs, mid-range cost things that I wasted my money on. What about you?
Anything I ever spent on any ex-girlfriends. No, seriously. There's a few things, and this was, so the first one would probably be. See, I'm not ashamed of this. All right, I'm ashamed that I wasn't smart enough at the start. Okay, so I think one of the biggest things I ever wasted money on, I would say, I don't regret this spending, but it was definitely the first car I ever leased. And let me tell you why. I didn't do my research. I really wanted the car. So that's a bad mix. All right. I didn't shop around. I didn't test the market. I went to the first dealership I saw, spoke to the first person I saw, took the first price I saw. All right. That car cost me 360 quid a month.
Okay.
Right. Oh, okay. I was 22, 23 at the time. the money was there in a sense. I was working full time. I didn't really have nothing sort else spend it on, whatever. I wasn't paying many bills. So yeah, but knowing, right, knowing that I could have probably got that cheaper had I just been more patient and took my time and just tested the market out, all right, that, when I think about it, was probably one of the biggest wastes of money, because that wasn't just £360. That was £360 for 3 years every month.
Wow, that's a lot of
Not
money.
to mention, not to mention the insurance and the petrol and any sort of like maintenance I had to do on it at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was probably one of the biggest wastes of money ever.
Jake, do you know how much that was in total over
I
those?
don't want to know. Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Are you
Don't tell
sure?
no one. Yeah. I'm happy. Ignorance is bliss. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
You've looked it up, haven't you?
Well, all I'm saying is that if I was to say to you, here's a car that you kind of like for 3 years, and it's going to cost you over that period of time just shy of 13 grand, then yeah, you can put that into context. That's all I'm saying. Not saying that's what you spend, Jake, but I'm saying just shy of 13 grand.
Sorry. But there was a positive that came out of that.
Okay.
Because I've leased cars since, all right? But I always make sure to do my homework. I play everyone off against each other, and I always get the best deal. All right, so I've never ever been ripped off again.
It's like an expensive mistake, right? Is that what you're saying?
It was a learning curve.
That's all right. No, I've been there, mate. I spent £9,000 on studying to be a secondary school teacher, and gave that up after 4 months. So yeah,
I suddenly don't feel so bad.
No, absolutely. So nine grand. I didn't have a nice flashy car to show for it for 3 years. 9 grand on a year's course. I enjoyed the course. I qualified as a teacher to work in secondary schools, and within 4 months, I was like, nah, this ain't for me. That was the biggest waste of money I've ever spent in my life. I suppose it's a bit harsh to say that, because I did enjoy the experience.
You got a skill out of it.
Got a skill out of it. I got a qualification.
Yeah, what did I get? Nothing. Just people thought I was a bit of a tosser driving a white convertible. That's all I got.
Absolutely. And people still think you're a tosser now, and you don't have to pay anything for that, Jake.
So that makes it even worse.
No, I'm just kidding. You're much loved. Don't worry. You're much loved. But
yeah, so if anyone's listening and they want to be a co-host on a podcast, just let me know.
Yeah, I do. But yeah, these expensive, and sometimes it's trial and error, isn't it? Like for you experienced that. You were younger. Me, I did my teacher training a bit older in life. I thought I was going to love it. Ended up not, and I left. But that was an expensive mistake. And £9,000 later, I have a qualification and I have experience. Kind of wish I hadn't spent the 9 grand now it's an expensive experiment, that's for sure.
Okay, so let's look at this the other way around. Tell me something that you spent a lot of money on and you thought, you know what, I'm satisfied. Like you're like, not you're happy you spent the money, but you didn't feel, oh man, what a waste. You actually feel, I don't know, like it was worth it, you might say.
Okay, I'll give you 2 examples.
Okay.
First one, the most amount of money I've ever spent on anything is the house that I'm sitting in right now. Right. I didn't buy it alone. It's bought it with my other half, and we both put money in towards it, and it was the most amount of money I've ever spent, and it took me a long time to save towards it, and thank God I had my other half helping me, because she was the one really who helped me to figure out my savings, the right bank accounts to use, like you said before, ISAs, and various different interest saving accounts, which might not be massive amounts of interest, but it's a little bit extra, right? And you know that your money is working for you, even if it's just a little bit extra, a few extra pounds each month. So that was an amazing journey, working towards that, having that in that mind of yours that, actually, you know what? I want to buy this house. I want to be a homeowner. So I'm going to work really hard to do it. And we got there. So for me, most proud of that. And in the short term, I just very recently spent just under £200 on a virtual reality headset. Okay, Oculus Go. And for me, that is one of the best investments I have made. That really? Oculus Go, that virtual reality.
You love it, yeah.
It's incredible. It is incredible. Wow. I mean, if you're not on the virtual reality hype yet, I would say to you people, experience it. I know you can do a bit on your phone, like with one of those sort of, basic sort of headsets you put your phone into. I would say if you can and have the facility and the money to do so, experiment with the next level stuff. It is incredible. You know, you're basically transported into different places around the world. You know, totally immersed within video games. It's an amazing experience. I'm buzzing about it. I'm still trying to figure out how to use it and enjoy it. So yeah, when I want to take a break from this house, which is just eating up my wages every month on bills, I'll put on the virtual reality headset and disappear. So, so what about you?
Okay, so like you, I was getting into property very recently, but now because of the whole COVID-19 thing, everything in the house market has stopped. Um, so that's on the back burner now. So I'm sure that'll be quite a big spend for me, and something I'll be very proud of. But I'd say in recent years, so 4 years ago, I went to Las Vegas with some people, and that was quite an expensive holiday. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I paid 300 quid to go to a pool party, and for 300 quid, I got entrance, 3 sunbeds, a small garden furniture table.
Wow.
And listen, a $600 credit behind the bar. However, what they don't tell you is the first drink cost you like over $500.
What?
No, sorry. The credit was $750. The first drink was $600.
Right, I see.
They bought you out. Listen, let me tell you. Let me take the scene.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what happens is you say, okay, we want this vodka package, whatever the hell it is. They bring out a bottle of vodka, all right, a few bottles of water, some ice, and some fruit juice. Yeah.
Okay.
All presented by a lovely girl in a bikini. Comes to your table, whatever. Bam. That's $600.
Well,
Right?
how big was the bottle of vodka? Sorry.
Standard size. What's like the normal size you get in the supermarket? Like the seven.
What is it? A litre
CL.
or 70 CL?
Yeah. So it wasn't even good vodka. All right. I don't know what brand it was, but I know it wasn't one of the well-known brands. Okay. And some fruit juice and some water and some ice. That's what you got.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
And then so whilst in Vegas, I did that. That cost a fortune, whatever. I then went to a shooting range. That cost, I think that was like $250 for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That was quite good. Money well spent. Obviously, getting there was like £1,100. Getting to the holiday and the spending money in that. But if someone said to me, Jake, do you want to go again tomorrow? I'd be like, yeah, I'd go do it all again.
You do realize, right? You could have done all of that in like Eastern Europe somewhere for about the cost of 2 packets of fags. That's all I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there to you right now.
Yeah, I know, but it just, I don't know. It's just the glitz and the glamour and the place just brings you in. All right, like, it's just.
What is it? What is it about it? Because
I don't know. I swear it's a drug in the air. I'm not sure, but I loved it.
That's the thing. When it comes to like Vegas, I find it really hard to like. Part of me is intrigued, and I see I hear your stories, and I'm kind of like, maybe I'd like to go. And then I look at the prices of stuff, and I'm like, man, I could do so much. I could do so much with that money.
I know. Don't worry. I know. But it was great. It was great.
So you'd go back?
100%.
So this is where we differ, I think, right? You'd go and spend. I mean, like a ballpark figure. That what was it? 5 days you were there?
5 nights. Yeah, 5 nights. Yeah.
5 nights. Okay. So ballpark figure. I mean, are you just talking like $1,000 a day, or?
How much I spent there?
Or just in total, including your flights, accommodation, your
so
spending.
Flights and accommodation was like £1,100.
Okay.
I probably took about 1,000 spending money with me.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stuff was like the pool party that was prepaid because we booked that over here, so you can add that on. Mm-hmm. We're probably talking close to like 2,000 maybe, 2.5. No, maybe not that much. Maybe 2,000 in total. More. No, you're more. Yeah, if I took 11,000 to get there, all right, 1,000 spending money, which I didn't spend all of it, so that's like just over 2,000. The pool party was 300. The shooting thing was 250. So you're touching $3,000 because you're going to put on your meals and stuff when you're there.
Yeah.
That was a lot of money. Wow. Now I'm thinking about it, I'm going to have a coronary, I think.
just have a quick calculation there, Jake. Yeah. With your car that you didn't like and your holiday to Vegas, you are now just around the 6 £16,000 mark. Okay, 16K. Okay, so you're now bordering on, sort of the average salary for somebody in certain parts of the UK for a year. Okay,
That
so
was spread across like 6 years though.
okay, well, fair enough. See, that's where we were different, right? Because for me, I could not probably stomach spending that amount of money over 5 days. I couldn't do it. Like for me, I'd want to go on some kind of a 6 week tour around the Middle East and Australia for that kind of money. It's
Oh, I'd like to do that as well, but maybe should have
but there is a difference though. I think for people, it's that for me. This is where again, I think that for me, I've always quite liked a bargain, a deal, right?
Yeah.
Not spending anything more than what I have to spend, and I'm really thinking to myself like, I need to feel like I've got massive value for money here. I basically feel like I need to have been paid where I should be paying someone else. I need to feel that level, right? So for me, I love a car boot. You know this about me. I love a car boot.
car boot. Yeah, you
Yeah.
find gems.
You find gems. You do. You find a good bargain, a good deal. If there is, something going second hand, good condition, I will always consider it.
Yeah.
For me, I find it hard. I've gone from being young and wanting to spend money on everything to getting older and not wanting to spend my money on anything. And if I have to spend money, I want it to be the least amount of money possible. My wallet is gathering more dust and I'm getting tighter and tighter as I get older. That's for sure. So it'd take a lot for me to go and spend that kind of money in a short period of time. Yeah. Although, I'm intrigued.
It will get you. It will get you. I don't know. It will get you. I don't know what it is. It just took me in, and it was, yeah. So yeah, I would say if you have the opportunity, go. All right, but just remember, right? You obviously, I was single then. All right. If I was planning on going again this year with my girlfriend for a 30th, like if I'm going with my girlfriend, I'm not going to be spending $300 to go to a pool party. That's just not going to happen.
You say that.
Well, yeah. Well, it'll be October, so the weather could be a bit dicey. It might not be as warm. So
That's
but
true.
yeah. Also, I find as well with buying things, I find I follow this process.
Okay.
So there's the discovery, which is when you decide what it is you want. When you think, oh, you know what, I really like that, I want that. There's the search. All right. So it's when you go to look for this thing in the shops or whatever. So it's not a discovery. It's almost like you getting introduced to the product. There's the search, then there's the discovery of the product, then there's you physically getting it and taking it to the till, and then there's you walking away with it. All right. That I love that feel. I love that feel of you wanting something, finding it, getting it, walking away with it, no questions asked. And it's even better if you can sometimes get a discount on it too.
Yeah, I love you. Got to love a discount. Come on,
I know I spent £16,000 and I shouldn't have done. All right, that things I didn't particularly like, but I still like a discount.
Well, you got to. I mean, that for me, people who know me well know I'm a big advocate of Top Cashback. It's an app, and you get cashback on so many different websites and online purchases, and I always say to people, why don't you use it? It's free money. Basically, you're getting money back for spending your money you're going to spend anyway, And there's little hits and tips like that. And again, I really do. I credit my other half because she's very savvy and she's very smart with the money and the cashback and. Even she put me onto that Martin Lewis, money saving expert, and the amount of advice and tips that he gives. I mean, if anyone doesn't know who he is or hasn't checked out him or his program or his YouTube channel, he's obviously got a TV program as well. Go and check it out. Enjoy your money, spend your money, but allow your money to give you something back. And if you can be savvy with what you're doing and where you're shopping and utilizing, the discounts and deals you can get, your money can go a bit further. But it's education. You've got to go and look it up and find out for yourself. So,
look for that deal, guys. Look for that deal. Exactly. But I feel that as I'm getting older, like you said, I'm becoming a bit more sort of not tight, but just more careful about what I do with my money. Like, here's one thing that annoys me. All right. I love going to restaurants. I like trying new foods, this, that, and the other. But I hate these pretentious restaurants, all right, that charge you 50 quid a plate for a little piece of steak and 3 potatoes on your plate. All right, why? Okay, what is going on there? All right, I mean, I was a little bit shocked the first time I went to Five Guys, and I'm paying 15 quid for burger and chips. All right, when McDonald's is only charging 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yes, but however, this is Five Guys is. I'll leave Five Guys. I'll pay my 15 quid. I'm satisfied. All right, I'm not hungry when I leave. I hate going to these fancy places. All right, where like, you know, you're getting hardly anything you plate. You paid a fortune. You walk out. And you're still hungry. It's bullshit. All right, I hate it.
But that's what we go back to. That links exactly what you were saying earlier about, you know, about the shoes, you know, because people will go and spend money to be seen. Yeah, want to be seen in that restaurant. They want to tag themselves in that place. So I was there, you know, I ate there, but they don't want to tell you the truth, which was, well, the food was shit, and you know, there weren't much on the plate, and I left hungry, and I still probably went and bought a £3.50 kebab from the local kebab shop. You know,
I didn't actually order like the proper menu. I got the set meal menu, like, because it's a little bit cheaper.
Exactly,
they're faking it.
What you want to be seen, but it links into that idea of like a false economy, doesn't it? Yeah. Really, you know, like you said, you know, you might go to McDonald's and it's nice and you pay a little bit less, but you know, you feel satisfied when you paid a bit more to get the decent stuff at Five Guys, for example. And that makes me think of me and my first proper pair of trainers.
I remember this.
Do you know how old I was when I first bought a proper?
I think I was there. When you're like in your like mid to late 20s.
Mid-20s, yeah. Okay, so I was 24 years old. Okay, that might come as a shock to people, right? But I spent the first 6 or 7 years of my sort of working life, or where I was earning money, buying incredibly cheap pairs of trainers, right? Because for me, in my mind, I was thinking, this thing is touching the floor, right? It's on the floor all the time. The floor is where there's dirt. There's shit. There's you know, there's muck on the floor, right?
Yeah, it's just horrible.
These things are touching the floor. So why am I going to spend £100 or whatever it might be on a pair of something nice as literally touching the dirt, you know? And I spent a lot of money, probably verging on hundreds of pounds, on pairs of trainers that cost me £20 a pop. That would last me 6 weeks.
Joe would buy bulk. He would bulk buy.
I would bulk buy crappy trainers.
He was like the Costco of shoes.
I was, you know, and I realise now, and you know, and then, you know, around about that mid-20s, that it was a false economy, right? Because you're spending next to nothing on, you know, a pair of trainers or whatever it might be. But the problem is that pair of trainers were lasting me weeks at a time, like before I had to buy a new pair. And I had to be convinced. I'm not going to lie. A few people. I had to be shown. I had to be.
I remember quite clearly once. I bought a pair for about 50, 60 quid, which, to be honest, price-wise for trainers, that's not a bad price. But Joe was like, I can't believe you spent that much money on shoes.
I can't believe
it. I'm like, this is not. I'm like, this is like mid-range stuff. I'm like, there's stuff going for like 150, 200 pounds. And he's like, no, that's crazy. I'd never do it. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I don't even know how you came about buying these ones. I'm not sure how you did it, but you came. Well, was it a pair of like Adidas or something?
It was Adidas high tops, right? And they were they. I remember putting them on for the first time. Okay, so I unlaced the laces, and you know they had a strap going across the high top as well. Velcro strap undone, foot inside, bang, left and right, ready to go. Stand up, look in the mirror, real good. So, would you like to take a walk around the shop to see how they feel? Okay, I'll take a walk. It was like walking in clouds, Jake. Oh my goodness. It was like heaven.
I told you.
I was like, I've seen why people spend money on trainers. Yeah. It's not because it touches the floor with the dirt. It's because of how good it makes your feet feel when you're on your feet all day.
Exactly.
Now I understand why people spend money on trainers.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that they last a lot longer because they're high quality, well made.
You only get one set of feet in this life, Joe. Look after them. That's what I'm going to say.
Well, I know at that moment I was a changed man. I mean, those trainers cost me £80. At the time, I'm not going to lie, I nearly did collapse when I saw the price. But I thought, you know, I'm going to have a go. You know, and I had them for months and months, bordering probably on a good couple of years before eventually they got worn out, but they were well worth every penny. And don't get suckered into the false economy, people. Yes, if you can't afford it, go for the cheaper option, right? But if you're able to save yourself a little pot there, that little bit more, especially I think when it comes to the clothes, you generally get what you pay for.
Yeah, definitely so. Always use the little tips like Joe said. Look for discounts. As well, at this point in time, I've noticed myself during this whole lockdown thing, a lot of companies are not selling as much as they would have done, and there's always discounts flying around. So yeah, take advantage of that. And if all else fails, and you can wait until November, Black Friday. Yes, most of the time it is a waste of time, and maybe you don't always get what you want, but you'd always find something. And it's true, you do.
And if you get bored, you can always just go down Tesco and fight someone over a telly, innit?
Yeah, beat them up real good. Walk away. Not even with a Sony. Although with some like generic brand we never even heard of.
Technica.
That's the one, Technica. So well done. You've just fought big fat Brian from down the road for a Technica. All right, you've made yourself look like an idiot. All right, to save what? 20 quid.
Exactly.
So don't do that, guys.
Yeah, we do not advocate violence. I just want to put that out there. We don't go and fight, and be sensible.
Yeah. So to wrap this all up, our advice on money would be, number one for me would be, start saving as soon as you can. Even if it's, I don't know, 10, 20 quid a week. Or a month. I don't know what your financial situation is, either or. Start saving. Don't be a knob. Don't buy more than what you can afford, and just be sensible, don't you think?
Definitely. And if it helps, have an aspiration in your mind. Think about those, if you can, the bigger picture. Yes, the nice posh watch might look great now, or the pair of trainers, but in the long run, you could be one of the first out of your friends to buy a house or buy that really good car that you want, and you might not think about it now, but in the future, you'll be grateful that you did save up and you did work towards it. And having a roof over your head and having your own place, let me tell you something, it feels damn good, when it's yours, and it feels special. And it might not be that, it might be renting, but whatever it is, start saving that pot up, and look for the deals as well, Jake, wouldn't you say? Go find those good deals.
Always look for the deals. Like, listen, you'll always get, I always found personally that, okay, I want this thing. But there's been times where it's like, no, it's too expensive. And I've waited a couple of months, and yeah, sure, it does come down in price. So yeah, always be smart, be savvy is what I'd say. And, just try and get the best price you can. And if you're going to buy a car or you're going to lease a car, please shop around. Don't do what I did. Because you'll get someone like Joe who'll do the calculation for you and tell you exactly how much you spent and make you feel 10 times worse about yourself. But yeah, I'm fine. Whatever. It was a long time ago. It was 10 years ago.
That was a long time ago. One last thing I want to say is, people out there, we talked about work, we've talked about money. Like, if you want more, okay, go out and make it happen for yourself. And I'm not talking about doing nefarious activities and doing things you shouldn't do. I'm talking about, you want to earn more money, put your head down, work, do that extra course, put the effort in. Maybe you get that promotion. Maybe you'll work towards that promotion. You want to get a job that pays more, go find that job. Speak to somebody, get advice. There's always opportunities. There's always a chance for you to improve yourself and to get something more out of the work that you're putting in. But make it happen for yourself. Then you can have all the things that you want because you're earning that bit extra money. Yep. So it's in your hands, people.
Yeah, and stay away from the payday loans, all right, guys?
Definitely.
They don't help no one, okay? Okay, guys. Thanks for tuning in again. We'll have another one for you quite shortly, I think. Thanks for coming again. We'll see you soon. See you later.
See you later, guys. Take care.
See ya. Bye.